Hello, everybody. We are live today for Give It a Go Voice Day, which I'm super excited about. My name's Laura. I'm your academic executive. My pronouns are she, her, and Joanna. Introduce yourself to the lovely people watching.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joanna, your Union Development Executive, and my pronouns are also she, her.
So today we're here to just talk to you a little bit about academic representation, but it is exciting. So don't tune off because we're gonna talk to you a little bit about like our experiences, how we got into these roles, because these are also like academic representation-y, if that's a word, roles.
Yeah.
So Joanna, you had a very exciting journey into the world of academic representation. Tell us all about it.
So I was really fortunate, actually. So everything started by becoming a course rep, which I'm sure Laura can go into a little bit more detail about later on. But course reps are an absolutely amazing thing that our voice team does. I became a course rep literally the night before nominations closed. I think I emailed the voice team at about 1 o'clock in the morning because I just really abruptly decided in my final year, now's the year to do it. Let's just go for it. And they emailed me back and said, "Yep, you're in the running. Go for it." And then I won, which was brilliant. I think there was 3 of us for my course. And that is what began this amazing journey of getting to know Laura and the SU so much more. I started to take part in our SARC committee, our student, oh God, there's so many, student academic,
You suck for SARC. Student Academic Representation Committee.
Thank you. And then what was the other? I also got to meet with someone from our board of governors, which is one of the highest up board that we have. That was absolutely amazing because having that one-on-one time with someone that can really make a difference at the uni was absolutely awesome, because we literally just got to moan at him for like an hour as students and say, these are the things we're not happy with, these are the things that work really well. That then led to me becoming a part of zones. Our zone nominations are currently open at the minute, and you can find out more on our website. But zones are so important to be involved in because they're one of the highest representations we can have as students. And it is really where you can make a huge difference. You get to work with one of us as an exec, depending on which zone that you're able to join. And we can implement policies, talk about things that need to change. And then you get to take things to student council. And student council was probably the best experience for me because I got to become chair. After many, many battles, which Laura knows because I was in Laura's zone, I fought to be chair of our zone, and I ended up co-chairing. And then when I got chair of student council, I was absolutely ecstatic. And I think that is really where my journey of falling in love with our students' union began, because I got to spend so much time with all 4 of the execs. I got to spend all of my time with the voice team and activities and really getting to know them. And the changes that we got to make were just brilliant. I think this year is going to be even better because we'll be able to do so much more. So yeah, it was brilliant. And then obviously from that, here I am. So I mean, I can't thank just becoming a course rep enough. I'm pretty sure it was Molly, who is in our voice team, that replied to me that night, saying, "Yep, you're in for course rep running." If she had not been so gracious to let me join ever so last minute, I would not be sat here talking live with all of you, trying to make you do the same things. Like, go for it. Like.
So if we go back to our course rep nominations, how did you feel that went in terms of the actual running for it? Did you have to actually compete to get a course rep position, or did you find it relatively straightforward?
It was really straightforward. Like I say, there was 3 of us that ended up becoming course reps, which I think is far better than just having the one, because you've got people to bounce your ideas off of, and your cohort's got more people to go to. But it was so straightforward. I literally just messaged the people in my cohort and was like, I'm running, this is what's happening, and these are the things that I'd want to do. If you want to vote for me, go for it. And then obviously, a week or so later, Bob's your uncle. She was a course rep. So
and we loved her for it. Yeah.
Oh,
So what persuaded you to go from a course rep to running our zones? Is there anything in particular that stood out?
God, for me, that was just. I've always been a student that wanted to make a change. You know, I always used to chat to so many people about the things that we both loved and maybe didn't love so much about our university. And you guys at the SU just really made it sound so fun, which it is. And you were like, this is the place to come if you really want to get your voices heard for everyone in your cohort. And if you really want to make that active change and be an inspiration, that was sort of the place to be. And that really spoke to me because I thought, well, for the last 3 years, that's all I've wanted to do. I've wanted to try and make a change for the better for everyone that I know. And that was the platform to go and start doing that. And it was absolutely amazing. So I think for any of our students out there that are a bit of an activist or just really want to get their voices heard, like going to zones and being a course rep is the thing to do.
Yeah. Well, when I was in my second year, I became a course rep, and the reason why I became a course rep was more because I wanted to like meet more people and have almost that excuse to talk to my course mates. And I think one of the best things that we do as a union is we put on these course rep socials. Can you tell us about those, Joanna? Which was your favourite?
Um, so honestly, for me, it was the very first one that we did. I think the best part of this social, so it was sort of a quiz night and pizza night. And although the quiz and free pizza was great, actually the best part of it was seeing how shocked the team were for how many of us showed up. I think the team was only prepared for there to be like a sort of generic 50 course reps showing up, and that number just doubled as the night went on. And I got to meet so many other course reps, and I still actually talk to a lot of them. And we still communicate now. Some of them are still doing their academic studies, some have graduated, and it's amazing to see what that experience did for them. Um, that was definitely the best social, just that initial getting to know everyone and like still being friends with them now.
Yeah, I really liked it throughout the year. We did like well-being socials as well, and as part of that, we did things like make slime, do like colouring. Some of our course reps even tried to show us how to like crochet stuff, which was really cool. Um, but we do have an open course rep social coming up this evening. Obviously, we can't really do it face to face, but we've done some pretty cool online ones. We've done like quiz nights, but this one isn't a quiz night because it's bonfire night tonight. We're doing it sort of like bonfire themed. So we're asking you to bring your best bonfire backgrounds, have a nice snug drink as we all sit around like the campfire and the virtual campfire and play some cool games. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That sounds like it is going to be incredibly exciting.
I'm really excited for it. What else are you looking forward to the rest of this week, Joanna?
Oh my goodness. Well, what day are we on? We're on Thursday.
Yeah. So I suppose there's only today and tomorrow left. I'm looking forward to the DIY face masks.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm incredibly excited to raid all of my housemates' cupboards and steal all of their ingredients to see what kind of concoction I can make. And then the best part will be is, you know, if there's just loads of honey and things left over, I'll just cook with it.
Yeah. I think we've also got some really cool stuff coming up during the week as well, some cool challenges. We've got a crossword challenge, and you can win treetop golf for 4 with free pizza and a drink each, which like I wish I could take part in that.
I've had to try so hard to not take part in some of our challenges. I think the one that we've also currently got going on is to design your own hoodie.
Yeah.
And you can send that in to us, and if we like it enough, their winner will get their hoodie actually made, which I think is brilliant, and that's going to be such an amazing memento to have from your time at uni. And I keep sitting here going, I really want to spend some time designing a hoodie, but I absolutely can't, because if I was to
Can't
win,
win.
I can't win. I suppose I could still draw a hoodie, and you know, just put on it, you know, don't let me win.
Yeah. You
Even
can
if it is the
enter,
most awesome.
but yeah, you can you can take part by sending a picture of your design your own hoodie to dsucoms@dmu.ac.uk. I love doing that. I think I say it almost every time, but I love how we like just put like banners. I feel like I'm a TV presenter.
I think it's brilliant. I love just being able to do this.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really cool. We've also got an art challenge going on, which has to be like autumn themed, and I believe there is a really good prize for that as well. Producer Sophie in the chat, if you could remind me what the prize is for that, that would be awesome. But going back onto academic representation, we've spoken about spoken about becoming a course rep, we've spoken about sort of like the nomination process and how you found that, and the process into actually sort of like applying to be on zones. But I think it's really cool if we're able to talk about some of like the wins or the changes that our course reps have made over the past couple of years. Pitch in, Joanna. It'd be really great to hear yours. I know when I was a course rep. So I'll give you a little bit of my story actually. So I started DMU in like 2016, I think. That sounds about right. And
yeah.
my first year, I didn't become a course rep, and I regretted it because I kept seeing that they were doing really cool things. So in my second year, I decided that that's what I was going to do. And I was a joint honours student as well. So I was in quite a unique situation in that I was almost like representing both courses, but those people that were sort of like half and half of each. And that could be frustrating at times because it could be that like the courses didn't actually really speak to each other or forgot about us as joint honours students. So from there, I was thinking, actually, I do want to sort of change things. And it was actually a conversation with our old deputy president education, because we were in a different structure then, Molly, and we every single year we do the Light the Night March, which if you haven't heard of it, it's an annual event which we march the streets to in solidarity with people who've experienced sexual or domestic violence. And that's the highlight of my year every year. But we were sat sign making for that, and we were just talking about various things. And I was talking about really that it was a bit frustrating for joint honours students. And she made me think then that actually I had the power like higher up to change things. So a lot of my priorities last year, because I'm a second year officer, so this is my second and final, unfortunately, year in office. That was my main priority then, which has been really nice to sort of like go full circle with it. So whilst I was a course rep, I did things like changing deadlines for my course and being able to sort of like access like additional support. But we've had some really amazing changes from other course reps throughout last year and the year before as well. Joanna, do you remember any that particularly stick out to you?
For me, I think it was some of just the smaller things that used to happen. In business, as I'm sure many of our students know, the overlap between courses can be absolutely manic. And because so many of us get to pick our own modules, we used to have sort of 3 deadlines all on the same day, and no one would ever want to speak up about it. And some of our course reps are the reason I think so many of us weren't as stressed,
Yeah.
because they actively started to sit down. And I also got involved with some of our module leaders to say, I think there just needed to be a bit more of communication between all of them. So there was almost like a master timetable with all of the deadlines on that they could all keep an eye on. And that made a huge difference to sort of the structure of things that were happening, because I think module leaders were becoming more aware of the deadlines they were setting. And it also opened up a lot more communication, because they would actively send out emails saying, if you've got a deadline and this doesn't work for you, just let me know. And I just sort of noticed that more students were more confident talking to their module leads and their program leads about the things that they needed to change, so they were a lot happier.
Yeah, definitely. And I think throughout sort of like lockdown, like our course reps were so like invaluable to be able to give us the insight about what they actually needed to change. I know when we were talking about the no detriment policy back in, when was that, like May, June time?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It feels like ages ago, but it wasn't at all. It was our course reps feedback that actually allowed that to happen. So that was absolutely incredible, really. I know also throughout the past year, the ones that I've been like super impressed with, I mean, I'm impressed with all of them and I'm not biased at all because our course reps are the best. But we've had students who've lobbied the university to create larger lift spaces because some of the students on their course had difficulty using them because they were wheelchair users. So being able to do that and have that to your name, to be able to put that on your CV, to be able to talk to actually people in interviews about it is really just like incredible. I'm in complete awe all the time.
We do have some amazing ones. There was a course rep in architecture last year, I believe, and architecture was so unhappy last year that what she decided to do was almost create mini course reps. So she got a little group together, and one of my housemates was actually a part of it. And that was amazing for him because he'd been a disengaged student for 4 years. And all of a sudden, he came home and was like, I finally understand why you do all the things you do. Like, and I was like, yeah, I was like, it's really important to take part in, these meetings might seem really boring, but I mean, he can preach that, he was completely disengaged, but becoming like this mini course rep, he really got to see a different side of the university. And they really started to make some changes in their architecture course because so many of them could get their voices heard. And that was all because of just one of our course reps actively choosing to basically create little minions, which I thought was a really clever
I love
idea, really.
that. I think as well, like it's just so important to be able to say that you were in the room where those decisions happened. And it's quite often that our course reps will sit on things like either student voice committees or program management boards. And within that, they're able to actually sort of talk to the program leads, talk to the people even higher up in the faculty about what their experiences are, and they'll be able to ask them their opinions on changes that they're going to make. So it's a chance to, if you think a really bad decision is about to happen, for you to actually be able to stop that before it actually happens, which is just really cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that is being a course rep. You should be a course rep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, let's move on. So we've spoken a little bit about zones. Could you tell us, Joanna, about like what the actual process is during zones? What do you actually do within it? What sort of like policies we pass it out, obviously like pitch in, but because you were chair of my zone, I just thought it'd be quite nice to actually like speak to that, and you can speak about holding me to account. So
Oh yeah, that was the best bit, I think. So we have 4 zones. I was a part of Laura's academic zone, which is 3 course reps from each faculty. We also have the open zone, which anyone can join. We have like 9 students. Then we've got the welfare and equality zone, and then we've got the opportunity zone. So all of those sort of work alongside your executive officer. And as Laura said, we get to hold them to account. So what would happen in Laura's zone is we would show up on an evening. Laura would tell us all the things that she was getting up to. We could sort of question her on them and ask, oh, why aren't you doing this? Or why isn't this happening? Have she thought about doing something in a different way? We'd also congratulate her because she would obviously be doing some absolutely amazing things for the student body. And then we would also start to look at any policies we wanted to create. And I know that quite a lot of things that were coming up to our zone was things around course deadlines, and the deadlines for return marks. And I think Opportunity Zone last year was really active and really on the ball because they started to do student group approvals, which
yeah,
is a really amazing process to be a part of. So anyone who decided to start a society, it would get to go to that zone, and they would get to sort of scrutinise and decide whether or not they actually became a thing,
which
which
is
I
really
was
cool.
yeah, I thought that was a really cool thing to get up to. Like, I
Yeah.
was I was like this. I was like, "Oh, so much power in just like 12 people."
But that holding us to account section is essentially just because as exec officers, we were voted in by you. We were voted in whilst we were still students. Some of us have graduated, some of us haven't. Ben hasn't graduated yet, bless him. So the only people who are our bosses are you. So you tell us if we're doing something good, you tell us if we're doing something bad, you can tell us off if you like, because essentially we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can do to help and support you. And although that sounds a little bit scary, it's not, because I think as long as like we're doing everything in your best interests, and you're holding us to account and doing that, that's the way that we can work properly and make sure that we're doing all we can to ensure the university is supporting you. You haven't had
100%.
your first zone yet, have you, Jo?
I have not, but
How do you feel about it?
I'm incredibly excited. I am nervous because I do think I know some of the students that are going to be in my zone, and I know that they will have a lot to say. But I'm actually really excited for that,
Yeah.
because I think it's going to be nice to have someone that will that will be able to hold me to account. And I mean, all of my execs know how much I talk. So I think it's going to be nice to have a really active zone that are probably going to, put me through the mill a little bit. But I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, that's what's going to make me a better executive officer. So I am really excited to see what's going to happen and what ideas we come up with, especially in the current situation, and being able to have that communication with students so closely. I think in a time like this is going to be really important.
Yeah, and it's nice also, so it's not just like the exec officer working on their remit like by themselves. Like I know for academic zone, if there was sort of like additional things, I'd be like, okay, come and help me with this, and let's work it out together. So it's sort of like a group effort to make a positive change, which I really enjoyed.
I think that was the best thing. And then any of those decisions as well coming up to student council,
Yeah.
I loved the interaction you could then have with all of the other zones, because there's 50 of us in total. So, that's a lot of voices and a lot of
Yeah.
people. And some of the things that could get bounced around ideas wise would be like absolutely brilliant. And it really gets you thinking about, trickling it back and forth. We'd be in student council, which is, the highest up it gets for us. But some of the ideas would make you think, what can I do more as a course rep?
Hmm.
Which was really nice because it would just go back and forth.
Yeah, I think also student council, just to give people sort of like an overview of what it is. I can't remember if I said already, but all of the zones sit in that, and they're voting members, but any student can attend it. So within that, we do updates from every exec officer in what we're doing, and council gets a chance to also hold us to account there, which is really nice because then it's like more people's ideas and more people's thoughts to help you along. But then we also talk about like big policies that we want to make, and so if a zone passes a policy, then it gets moved to council, and we all sort of discuss it there. We've had some pretty interesting discussions over the past year, haven't we, Joanna?
Definitely.
I think the biggest one was probably talking about strikes, and how that was affecting students, and did we want to support it or not? And that was a really interesting discussion.
It was. The thing I liked about that discussion as well, and which is important to note, is we had other students that weren't a part of student council, but anyone can attend our student council meetings. The only sort of hitch is that it's only our student council members that can actually vote on these things. But it's still really important for you as a student to show up because you can still get your say. And when it came to the strikes, we had a lot of students showing up to have these discussions with us. And it was really good to sort of hear from all different viewpoints how everyone was feeling.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's also a really great like development opportunity to be able to be a part of student council. Like Joanna, you were chair, and that led you to sort of running for this role that you've got. I mean, you don't have to be a part of student council or even be a course rep to run for these positions. But I think there is situations where it perhaps does help. For example, you'd have had an opportunity of chairing some pretty like awkward or loud discussions, which is a massive sort of like help. But do you think there's anything else that you learned whilst being chair of student council?
Oh my goodness, it was one of those experiences where I think I learned so much that I even still reflect on it now. I think the biggest thing I learned was I don't want to say like how to control a room, but it was being confident. Like Laura said, we would sometimes have some really heated discussions. And even though I say I do talk a lot, I would really struggle in those kind of talks to take control back and tell people when things needed to end. Um, and that just really helped me to understand, like, okay, I think enough is enough. Let's get things back to where they need to be. And
Yeah,
that really helped with my confidence across the board. Because then when it came to presenting on any coursework I was doing, I noticed that I was doing it differently.
it's
And
nothing compared to
no, all of a sudden it just puts things into perspective. And I think the biggest thing I learned was, like, I already knew how diverse our university was, but seeing it in action was so different. And all of a sudden my mind was just blown, realizing that we've got some really passionate students, and they really are keen to make their student experience for everyone as good as it can be. And that was so inspirational to see. And I think, again, it's because of all of that that then led me to be here today.
yeah.
So it really has taught me a lot, and I think it definitely prepared me for this job a lot more.
Yeah. And if there's anything sort of like that you as students watching you would like us to in particular to do, or would like the university to adopt, but just need sort of like our additional push, you could also write a policy and bring it to council yourself, and we can vote on it there, because that's a really good way to get that change, that personal change that you want. You don't have to be a course rep or to be involved in any particular way. It's a student council, so it works for you as students. Yeah. So today we have our crossword going on. That is on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. Remember, if you take part in that, you get win treetop golf for 4. You get free pizza and a drink each. I'm presuming that'll probably be after this lockdown. I'm hoping so. Yeah, I think it is, because I think Treetop's closed at the moment, but it's still something really nice to look forward to. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. We've got our De Montfort SU accounts, but we've also got myself and Joanna have got different work accounts as well. That is me. Give me a follow, always after those follows, and that is Joanna.
And that's me.
But that probably brings us to the end of our live stream today. But before we finish, Joanna, do you have anything in particular, any advice you'd give to any students who have an idea, who want to make a change?
Talk about it. It doesn't matter who it's to, because you never know where that is going to lead you to. If you're thinking about making a change, talk to the students in your cohort, go and talk to a lecturer about it, send us a message,
Yeah,
because you will be so amazed by how quickly we can make these changes happen and how empowering it will make you feel. So I would say just talk.
yeah.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to let your voice be heard. Just go out and like chat to whoever, send a message to whoever, because we're really not fussed. You're not going to be bothering us. If anything, it makes us more excited to see that you're
Yeah.
engaging.
And chances are, if you're thinking it, then like a whole range of students will be too. Just needs one of you to take that first step and actually like talking to other people about it. I think that's what my advice would be, but also to not be afraid to come chat to us about it either. Our virtual doors are always open. Our emails, our Twitters, Instagram, whatever. We're here for you, and we want to hear your thoughts all of the time. So get in touch. But thank you very much. Oh,
Definitely.
that is my email. That's my
we're
email there.
we're everywhere. I love it.
Yeah. Faces on campus centre steps. And that is Joanna's.
There we go. That's my email. So don't be afraid to contact us. Don't be afraid to talk to other people. That is Voice's email.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing to say as well is that if this has inspired any of our students, our zone nominations are still open. So do go onto the DSU website and nominate yourself for one of our zones, and you can take part in all these amazing things that me and Laura have just been talking to you about.
Yeah, and take a look at the other Give It a Go activities happening this week as well. I'm sure there'll be something for all of you. So yeah, get involved. Thank you very much for watching today, and thank you, Joanna, for joining me on this live stream.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Laura.
You're very welcome. See you soon. Stay safe.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.